beef teriyaki stew is delicious. It's simple to make. A lot of people are afraid of kind of slow cooking meat, but the beautiful thing about this is you get a ton of flavor and you get that succulent, shreddy beef from a cheap cut. So this is for the people that want something a little meaty. This is great in the fall. It's hearty, it's got rice in it, it's got veggies, and it's got meat, and it will last for a while, so you can reheat it, you can eat it throughout the week, you make a big pot of it. All you got to do is you take a pan and you heat that up on nice and high. Then you add a little bit of olive oil, or any whatever oil you want to the bottom, and just toss in some stewed beef chunks. So basically it's chuck that's been cut up, but they usually call it like beef for stew. If you see that, it's already cut up, ready for you. You throw that in there, you add some salt and you add some pepper, and just cook that for like a minute or two, and then kind of mix that around, because you're sort of caramelizing the outside of it a little bit. And then once that's done, then you take your vegetables. I took some carrots that were cut up, smashed some garlic, had these little roasted potatoes, I chopped up an onion really well, and so what goes in...
well, it's really simple when you're making a stew, because you don't have to chop up things well.
Yeah, I just did a really good job chopping up the onion.
I see.
Sprinkle in a little bit of onion, potatoes, carrots, and that garlic. Doesn't even have to be minced up, just smashed garlic. That goes in. Then some tomato sauce, teriyaki sauce, and beef stock, or beef, whatever the other thing is called. Broth. Beef stock or beef broth. You don't have, if you just had broth, that's okay. The tomato sauce adds depth, the teriyaki adds depth. You could throw in soy sauce and whatever. You mix that around and you just let that come up to a boil. Once it's on a boil, you're just gonna put it on like a low simmer. So you just wanna see it bubbling, but not this like rapid bubble. You want like these like still constant. Let that sit for 45 minutes to an hour. It's gonna just do a lot of deucing. It's gonna be reducing constantly. It's gonna be thickening up. And what's gonna happen is the beef is gonna tell you when it's done, because about 45 minutes later, pull out a little piece of beef, and if it shreds nice and easy, that beef is ready to go. But that's not it, we're not done yet.
When you're slow cooking meat, the number one mistake is undercooking. You take it out and it's chewy, just keep it going. That's the best skill we can teach you. Just keep it going. I made so many mistakes in my past.
You're like, I think it's done, right? And you're like pulling it apart.
Yeah, and it's chewy and your meal's ruined. Keep it going until it's tender. You can always add more liquid if you're running out.
Yeah, but you're running out, it's not tender. That's a very good point. And also, like, it's better to overcook it a bit because it's in the juices. So even though if it starts to get a little dry, you're still got all that wetness to keep it wet.
Juice.
If it starts to get dry, just bring back the wetness. You'll be good to go
You know how
on your date. That's a very important thing with the women. If you're trying to, slip in the meat, it's got to be nice and juicy and tender. You don't want any dryness. It's not worth it. If it feels dry, take a break. Go down, do some work down there, and then go back up and continue on. And that's exactly what we're doing. So once the beef is nice and tender, then I'm gonna put in some rice. And at this point, you can add like half a cup of rice, and what's gonna happen is it's actually gonna soak up that liquid. So say there's a good amount of liquid left, adding a half a cup, 3/4 of a cup of rice, and then cooking it for about 20 more minutes will soak up a lot of that juices. So in the end, you get this really delicious sauce, the rice, the beef, the potatoes are cooked, the carrots are cooked, it's the onions and the beef is shreddy and it's delicious.
So good.
This is more on the hearty side, especially for a woman who, she wants that extra bitterness. Some women want a little
that extra D. That's what he's trying to say.
She wants that extra, the big D. She wants this.
Now, of course, Josh and I have the most experience with cooking for ladies. Basically, all of our date night experience is cooking for ladies. And a lot of times we run into some vegetarians along the way. You should at least have a few vegetarian meals in your back pocket with those things out. And this is a great one because it is foolproof. It's a vegetarian lasagna, and you can really throw in anything you want in there, bake it off, you're good to go. I'm gonna start off with just slicing up some vegetables. I've got some zucchini and mushrooms and spinach, but again, use whatever you really want. Then we're gonna start assembling this thing. You don't even have to cook the pasta. That's the best part about it.
That's the crazy thing.
The pasta cooks in the juices that we're about to add. Get a little bit of oil on the bottom, add some tomato sauce and ricotta. That's like a base so your noodles can suck that up. Add some raw, dried lasagna noodles. You know these long, strippy things? put those on the bottom. You can crack one in half if you want to fill in the space. Then we're gonna add some more pasta sauce and a little bit of that ricotta. Then we're gonna start layering those veggies. We got the zucchini, the mushrooms.
Salt, pepper, oil.
Yeah, I added a little bit of salt and pepper, a little bit of oil at that point just to help out those veggies. Top that with a little bit of spinach. Then we're on to our next layer. More pasta, and just keep layering it up just like that till you get to the top.
And you could add like mozzarella cheese, Parmesan cheese.
I wanted to keep this one a little lighter because again, this is date night. It's nice to have things light because when the action's happening
we're doing some work later. Yeah,
you don't want the upset stomach, the farts coming out. That's an instant way to ruin.
You don't want to be like, oh god.
Josh is the master at the late date night farts.
No.
He's the master. Comment in below and just ask your questions because he'll tell you how to cure that action.
It's not true. You've seen it here. It's bullshit. This guy is trying to sabotage me.
So I tin foiled that whole lasagna so all of that steam contains in there. It's going to help with the cooking of the noodskis. Toss it in the oven around 375 degrees, 400 degrees for almost an hour until the noodles are cooked. And in the meantime, I've got this nice bread. I'm gonna slice this up just like that. Add a little bit of oil and just a little bit of salt. And in the last 10 minutes of the cooking process of your lasagna, just throw the bread right on the pan. Give it a flip when it starts getting brown. And then take everything out. The bread's gonna be nice and crispy, and what I like to do is just rub in a little raw garlic, and that's gonna get the ladies excited. They're gonna be like, oh my god, this is the best garlic bread, but it's so simple, I'm telling you. Serve it up, slice it
Well, it's
nice.
just enough that you don't get because you don't want too much garlic in your mouth. I've had that where I'm like, oh, bitch, back off, you know?
Yeah, back off. Just a little rub for the flavor, but not an overpowering. Let your lasagna sit and just slice it up. Plate it nicely. Make your date excited. This is like an easy dish that can become very gourmet just through the plating. Sprinkle on a little fresh basil, any herbs you have, and then drizzle a little bit of olive oil for some extra sexiness.
The drizzy?
Sexy vegetarian lasagna.
That's how you get drizzy.